So I'm pleased to be sitting here with Sally Gamble of Tomorrow Today Foundation. She's the founding director and current chair of the foundation, and she's come all the way from Benalla to talk to us today. So thank you.
That's
Sally,
a pleasure.
for coming.
A pleasure. Yes.
We've got just a few questions to run through to benefit from your experience. And can you give us kind of a quick overview of the work of Tomorrow Today Foundation first?
Sure. So Tomorrow Today Foundation, our name is all about creating a stronger tomorrow by our actions today. We are the dedicated community foundation for Benalla and District in northeast Victoria. So like all community foundations, we're about building a community fund, a corpus of money, and the income of that to be provide small grants for our local community to help create a stronger, more resilient, prosperous rural community. So that's one side of what we do. The other very important aspect is our Education Benalla program, which we initiated, did a lot of research and initiated back in 2010. It is a long-term, whole-of-community approach to improving educational outcomes for our young people to address social disadvantage. So it's a very ambitious program with lots of different activities involved. By whole of community, I'm talking about we partner with about 140 different local organisations, from government departments, all schools, community groups, business and the like, all focused on better outcomes for our young people. We work from the basis that there are three educational environments: the family, the school and the community. And we also work from the basis that we partner wherever we can, we support others who are doing great stuff, but there are times that there are projects that we need to be involved in service delivery. And so, for example, in our early years space, we deliver the PEAP, or Parents Early Education Partnership Program. We have currently 15 sessions a week with 185 families, 220 kids coming to this early literacy childhood development program. So we do a host of things in the age from 0 to 24 with a long-term aim of, a stronger community.
So one of the things that we're trying to get out of today's discussion is to try to understand why you decided to go for a PBI structure.
Sure.
And how that enabled you to do work that you couldn't do previously, because by what you just described, it sounds like you're doing a lot.
We are doing a lot, undoubtedly. The PBI structure, the reason we went for it is, of course, the funding side of things. That having a DGR1 really makes an enormous difference in the range of charitable organisations, foundations, private ancillary funds that can support us. So that was definitely the motivation. Yeah.
Interesting. And it was different from what you'd had prior to having it?
Yes, because our community foundation is a charitable company, which is trustee of a DGR2 public fund. And so look, we're fortunate that being rural, we do have the FRRR account that we can work around with. Okay. It adds a complexity, and there are funders who aren't really comfortable with that, and so it really was very worthwhile to go.
So then that's why you retained your original charitable organisation, because some of the work didn't fit the PBI guidelines.
That's right.
Can you explain that a bit?
Yeah, sure. So Benalla, because of the degree of disadvantage in Benalla, it's in the top 5% of social disadvantage in Victoria. So we fit PBI because of that level of disadvantage, but because the purpose of our community foundation was and always will be about strengthening the community, that isn't a purpose that's compatible with a DGR, with a PBI. And so therefore we actually had to keep had to keep the company and the public fund and set up a new company for the PBI. And of course, the other great benefit of a PBI, because we are service delivery as well as everything else we do, we have quite a number of staff, and so having the ability to salary sacrifice for our staff with the PBI structure is quite an asset that we make the most of.
Okay, and you wouldn't have been able to do that otherwise?
No, so we couldn't do that previously. So that's another real benefit.
Yeah, that's interesting. That hasn't come out.
Okay, no, look, that's really important.
Yeah, that's an incredible benefit.
So
when you think about running multiple structures as a business, not for profit, but business for purpose, and running those multiple structures side by side, there's always the fear that there's a bit of complexity involved with that. So can you talk to the administrative burden around that?
There's undoubtedly administrative burden. There's no doubt about that. We have 2 companies, so we have two board meetings. We fit it into the time we did before, so it's still 2 hours, and it's now 2 board meetings, 2 sets of papers. There's all that side of things. There's the cost of 2 lots of accounting, 2 lots of audit, 2 lots of charitable compliance, 2 lots of fundraising registration. So it is absolutely a significant burden that you have to be confident that...
So it's not for the faint-hearted.
It is not for the faint-hearted. No, look, we've been... undoubtedly it's a success for us and we're glad we've done it. But for new directors coming in and kind of looking at everything there is, it was already quite a complex structure with the charitable company, with the open fund in it and trustee of a public fund. Now you've got this other company as well. So yeah, it's interesting.
But before the camera started rolling and we were chatting, you were giving me some examples of the benefits of it, the kind of work that you can do now that you couldn't. So could you tell us a bit about that, the real benefits that you get as a result?
Oh, look, I think the benefits are that for the community can support directly some of the work we're doing in supporting kids who simply don't have the resources that they need for their education. And there's no question that we can just say, yes, of course you can do that. So locally there's great support and it makes it easier, and there's no qualifications or it having to do a workaround. You don't have to just go there at all. So that's a really good thing. And being able to go out to funders and talk about the incredible work we're doing and the lives being changed by all the different programs we're running, and they can just say, yes, we can fund it. And there's no issues about having to, well, you'd need to give the donation somewhere else and it work its way around, which for some funders is a problem. So we are reaching about 1,500 children and family members in Benalla with our programs directly, with a huge range of different things going on, and a really positive vibe about that. And we are actually seeing, material results on the ground. So it's exciting.
It seems to be a structure that is working very well in place-based philanthropy. And that, so of the case studies that we're offering through this discussion, this series of interviews, that's been a theme. That this is a structure that works there.
And I think place-based philanthropy is there's such a strength to it, and the community, more and more people getting on board and understanding and being proud of, and we'll get a call. It's some organisation saying, we're going to have a fundraiser and we'd like to give the money to you, or whatever it might be. But there's, it has
become that central source of community strength and building a culture of philanthropy.
Yeah, that's right. And bringing people together to talk to each other and working out between you how you can much more efficiently achieve together what is difficult alone. Yeah.
That's really a good news story. So if you were giving advice to other foundations who might be considering a PBI, you've already mentioned a few of the pitfalls, but what would anything else you'd say that they should avoid, or some sage advice you could give?
Look, I think you probably need to think about the length of time of what you're doing and just consider, the benefits that you think will be there, and just weigh that up against there are some challenges with it, but if you're organised and it really you think will have the long-term benefit, go for it.
That's great. Well, thank you, Sally.
That's my pleasure.
For coming in.
Absolute pleasure.